I'd like to welcome everyone to Public Safety Commission. I'll call the meeting to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United
of the
States
United
of
States
America,
of America,
and to the
and
republic,
Republic for which it stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
and
for all.
justice for all. Okay, thank you. Can we get a roll call, please, Jennifer?
Just make sure I'm unmuted. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to call roll, and then I'm going to introduce our city officials present, and then the mayor.
Okay.
Okay. Chair Hunter Chang.
Here.
Vice Chair Jeff Buzel.
Present.
Commissioner Eugene Ramirez.
present.
Commissioner Al Bogue.
Here.
Commissioner Victoria Firestone. Present. And alternate Zilla Tobiano. Okay, we have a quorum. Our city officials present are Chief Mario Rueda from the fire department, Chief John Encontro of the police department, and Director Michael Throne from the Parks and Public Works department. And our council liaisons today are Councilwoman Gretchen Shepherd-Rami and Mayor Ken Udi.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. The agenda's been posted. Written communications been distributed. At this time, we'd like to address public comments. So is there anyone here from the public? I see Mr. Dustin who would like to talk about something that's not on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, moving on, commissioner reports. Any commissioners attend any conferences or meetings this past month?
None.
None, okay. We're good, all right, moving on to department reports. We'll start with police. Chief Encontro. You're on mute. Oh, you left.
You scared him away?
Yeah.
Chief's mic went down. He's going to try to reboot in a second.
Okay.
Chair Chang, I suggest we move on to the fire department report while I reboot so we don't waste the time.
Okay. All right, we can do that. Chief Rueda, are you ready for the fire department report?
I am. Good evening, Chair and commissioners. You have the report in front of you for the fire department's report to the Public Safety Commission, but there are a couple things that may warrant explanation at least. I included a section this month on the status of our local healthcare system to the I guess to the people not directly involved in delivery of either emergency medical services or that are working in hospitals. I found are really this, or they're really reading the newspaper and believing everything that's in the newspaper. Most are unaware of what is taking place. So I included not only our own statistics here in the city, which back when I wrote this, I think we had 192 cases. We're up to 250 cases today with 7 deaths amongst our own residents. As you're watching in the news, just the skyrocketing of infection in our county and really in our region. But more importantly, here at home, I think if you were to ask most residents where they would go for their health care, they would tell you they'll drive right over to Huntington. I can tell you Huntington Memorial Hospital is at peak capacity. They've converted cafeterias. They converted the neonatal intensive care unit, the babies critical care unit. they've converted all those to COVID. They've got tents on the outside. Their emergency room is full. And our paramedics, if they get approval to go there, are waiting for Huntington to find a bed. Recently, Huntington Hospital sent out a letter, which I included in your packet, explaining that they haven't implemented it yet, but at some point they're considering an internal committee that will basically decide on the rationing of care, which is really unprecedented. I haven't seen anything like that. They also yesterday informed the area fire departments that all of their specialty centers were closed to ambulance traffic, meaning if you have a car accident and need a trauma center, if you have a heart attack, if you have a stroke, all of those specialties that Huntington used to have world-class medical care, it is unavailable. You'll be going to LA County Hospital or Arcadia for some specialties, but our Huntington Hospital here is completely saturated and closed to any of those specialties. A couple other things have occurred. We received a letter from the state of California asking for our firefighter paramedics to if they were available and were willing to work, they could be deployed to hospitals as part of the California Master Mutual Aid System, which is another unprecedented tactic to try to shore up what's happening in our hospitals. Lastly, the county sent out LA County EMS Agency, which is who basically provides instruction and guidance and rules for our paramedics, have sent out 3 additional directives today dealing with how we treat patients, who we offer oxygen to, and who we should not. Those are just significant changes in how we deal with our patients. So just to alert you to what's happening in our healthcare system, we're not in normal times. I also included in my report a vaccination update. So originally the plan, according to LA County Department of Public Health, was to utilize the hospital system as the delivery mechanism for vaccines to the various phases. And I included the handout in your packet so that you could see at least what the county had planned. When the surge hit, that plan really hit the first obstacle, which there was nobody available to give the vaccines to anybody. And so that plan quickly defaulted to the LA County EMS Agency, working with the local fire departments to train up paramedics to start to deliver that vaccine. That vaccine this week is being delivered to all of the area fire departments, and anybody else that fits in the tier that's described. Our local fire department in Arcadia volunteered to be the site and is being supported by other fire departments to provide staffing for vaccines. We were lucky in that San Gabriel contacted us at a last minute and had vaccines available. Most of our people went to San Gabriel Valley Hospital, were vaccinated there, but we are available to provide vaccines if the plan does continue with the subsequent tiers utilizing this system that's been set up. But we're really under the instruction of our LA County Department of Public Health as to when and where the next tiers of vaccines will be provided. But there is a system in place in the San Gabriel Valley for at least the next tier to get vaccinated. Our our both our call load and our staffing are up, and it just seems like every call our paramedics are going on is COVID related or flu-like symptoms. So it is, there's been about a 10% increase in both our responses plus transports. The other thing that's impacting us is when we actually get to a hospital, we have to wait for the hospital to make a bed available for the patient. So we end up staying there sometimes 4 or 5 hours for the hospital to find a bed for that patient. So we're in dramatically different times. I've communicated this to our mayor and vice mayor. I've talked to Mitch about an article, just so our residents know that it's not business as usual. You're not simply driving into Huntington and getting used to the world-class service that they're accustomed to providing. That concludes my report. If you have any questions. Yes, Al?
Al, you're on mute.
Yeah, actually, my questions are kind of, I suppose, insignificant in comparison to what you've been talking about. But I do have 3 questions. I noticed in reading your report, where you report on the overtime for the month, that the overtime in the month of November was up, and it appeared to be largely due to an injury on duty. Can you give us an update on who, how, where, when, how that person's doing? Or is it not a person?
Without giving names. We have one individual that underwent back surgery.
Oh boy.
And that just puts us at a disadvantage of a quick return.
Yeah.
And we really don't have much control over that.
Oh,
actually,
no.
What a lot of our overtime has really resulted from is the coronavirus and the running the resident support hotline and assisting our human resources with testing for employees, and then running down if there's been any additional exposures as a result of an employee with suspected COVID or that person that was exposed. So that's really been quite a bit of work for Captain Sutliff, who's undertaken that role, and that just kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Thank you for that. A second question, in your report, you indicated that Engine 91 was involved with a bonfire. It appears for 3 days. Is that correct?
The which fire?
I think it said bond. It's in your report. You indicated December 3rd or through the 6th.
They did. They went out in support of the Master Mutual Aid System and responded as part of a strike team. And that was the fire in Orange County.
Right.
That was in the mountains behind Orange County. And they ended up being there for 3 days. And as you're aware, we backfill when they go out. So we had a relief crew. So really, service is really not impacted.
And you presumably then used the older engine in place of 91, or?
That's correct. That's one of the reasons I argued so vehemently for the replacement cycle that we have, and the council was very supportive of making sure we had fire trucks and ambulances that when we go to start them, every time they start and they stop when they're supposed to.
Well, thank you for that information. The last item that I was going to ask about was the status of the repairs and improvements, if any, to the fire department facilities. I know there was an intent to make some improvements in a closet slash laundry area. And were you able to do that during the time that that you were out of the structure while it was tented, or immediately thereafter, or is that still in your future?
Not surprisingly, to me at least, the materials for the safety upgrade here,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, have been held up because of COVID. The flooring we're told, is shipping from China and is not readily available. So it's taking longer than I would have anticipated.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief Geretta. Any other questions for Chief on the fire department report? Okay. Seeing none. Thank you, Chief, and your staff for your great work during this unprecedented times. Can I get a motion to receive and file the fire department report?
So move.
Okay, Al.
Second.
Okay, Jeff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. Are you ready to start now, Chief and Contro?
Yes, I can. I apologize.
All right.
For
Okay.
that distraction earlier. I knocked over my laptop and everything went blank. You, as Chair, Vice Chair, Council members, and Mayor Udi, just want to say thank you. This is my first day back from 2 weeks vacation. It was nice to relax a little bit. But a couple of things I just want to highlight in the report, and a couple of things that we've talked about in the past. The first thing is the flock cameras. We made additional arrests this past month directly related to the flock cameras, mostly for stolen vehicles. And I believe 1 or 2 cases were related to our own investigations. They are proving to be extremely helpful. We're looking at possibly getting additional cameras within a year through a LA County grant. The grant has not been completely approved through the county, but if we do, we could probably get an additional 10 or more cameras. There'll be some issues in some of the funding, but for right now, it looks promising for us. I'm really happy with what they do, how they help us. And as you can see, Commander Blondet is on camera today, and he was tasked with that project and did a great job. And I just want to thank him for the success of those cameras and the way they're working for our community. It's making us safer. You know, we may arrest people who are driving stolen vehicles that are driving through our city, but oftentimes they have burglar tools. They are people on probation, parole for other crimes, and they could easily be in the area to commit crimes within our city. And through the cameras, we're able to stop them before they're able to do anything. So I'm really want to thank the council and the Public Safety Commission for supporting that idea and the work of Commander Blondet. One area of crime that's really plaguing us this past several months, as it is throughout the region and across the nation, is our thefts. Again, 3 primary areas that we are trying to stem the tide is package thefts. It is thefts from unlocked vehicles, whether they're parked in Lacey Park, or in most cases, it occurs in the driveways of our residents, who leave everything from sunglasses, change, all the way up to computers, exceptionally fine handbags, and other things of value. These things are very simple. It's take them out of the car, lock your car at night, put on your alarm, and that will help us quite a bit. But These are cries of opportunity. People are walking up and down the street and they're checking doors and they're walking down driveways that don't have gates that are closed. They see open garages from the street, and it makes for easy pickings. The same thing with package thefts. People are getting a lot of stuff online. As you know, I'm doing the same thing. I have my stuff delivered to a mailbox store. My efforts with Amazon have not been fruitful at all. They only wanted to place their locker at the San Marino Center. And I was trying to encourage them to find another location or at the library, which was not acceptable for them. And with hopeful construction, we will have a new San Marino Center being rebuilt later this year. So having it for any length of time would not have been a worthwhile effort. So unfortunately, I don't have that option, but we're trying to put out messaging, and we're going to continue to do that on a regular basis. The next week, our Sergeant, Danny Gutierrez, who runs our Neighborhood Watch program, is going to be hosting a Business Watch Zoom meeting with the businesses in the city and talking about safety, talking about crime reduction, talking about being good partners, for the department to be good partners. You know, the mayor's made it an effort to encourage our businesses, as had the community development director. And it's our part to make sure new business feels safe in our town. And if we can make them feel safe, that will also encourage the opportunity of new business and new patrons to the businesses in town. The two other items are our motorcycles and our new police vehicles. Our two police motorcycles were delivered last week, and we have our two officers who will be trained in riding the motorcycles. They'll be doing that in March. We had a class scheduled, however, because of delays of COVID in delivery of the motorcycles and some other problems with scheduling a class, we'll have to do it in March. And that's about a 4-week class, and very difficult training class. But that will be coming up very soon. We're looking forward to the program starting. Our vehicles are in at the local Ford dealer and will be shipped out to the company that puts everything together and into the cars. However, because of COVID, they slashed their staff by 17 people approximately. So we're waiting our turn, just like everybody else. A lot of departments, Sheriff's Department, LAPD, and others, Long Beach, Santa Monica, they had many vehicles damaged during the rioting in May and June, are also in that pipeline. So they're trying to get their cars replaced as we're trying to get our new cars in service. Our radar trailer has been deployed quite a bit. We had it on Huntington Drive for several days last week. The data that we were able to retrieve is we only had a little over 1% of the drivers going over 40 miles an hour while that trailer was deployed. One of the positive things is it's a force multiplier, that people see it and they slow down. We did have one anomaly with a person at some point doing about 80 miles an hour down Huntington. That was the only vehicle really going at any speed. And but for the most, people are going at 40 or less. And like I said, just over 1% of the vehicles were over 40, and not by very much. So we're very happy with those. We have two other, portable signs that we'll be fixing to poles throughout the city, and we're working through some technical difficulties. We had some staffing issues last couple of weeks too that slowed down deployment of those. One thing that is up in the air that could be of interest to us, and I'll be speaking to the mayor and vice mayor tomorrow, is some of the initiatives by our new district attorney. We are a property crime city. We have relatively little violent crime. Most of the violent crime is associated with a very small number of domestic violence or a occasional road rage or something else, but very little violent crime. And the initiatives by the new DA with taking away the enhancements such as having a gun with them, being a gang member, having priors for similar burglaries and things like that, nonviolent crime. He has a different philosophy than I do. And he may not be filing the same way the last DA does on cases. Certain cases may or may not be going to court. Also, there's a de-emphasis by the new DA in filing of misdemeanors. And when we look at thefts, remember it's $850 or more. And before we have a crime, and then if we're having things stolen, packages stolen, we make an arrest, there won't be a prosecution. Nothing will happen. Maybe they'll go for diversion, maybe they'll go to drug rehabilitation. However, those programs aren't in place. And there's no known time when those programs will be in place. So that's why it's particularly important for us to work hard this next 6 months to a year with the community and really driving home the importance of prevention at home. We'll be looking forward to talking to the community, talking to our block captains about messaging, communicating, maybe a certain theme. And commissioners, if you have ideas, please let us know about how to get people to pay attention to these small things. As I've said, if we see something, you say something, and also hardening our own targets, making sure everyone is using a security system with an alarm, everyone is locking their car doors, taking valuables out. Maybe to some, having a $5,000 worth of property taken out of their car is not much, but what it does, it's kind of like feeding that stray cat. You keep putting out food and water, they're going to keep coming back to the same source. And I don't want our city to be that source. So we have to look at different things, how to counterbalance the DA's policies and guidance on filing. So I'll be looking for some ideas from anybody and from our staff. And so that is my report. If anyone has any questions, I'm available.
Chief, question. I've talked to a couple other local chiefs, and their departments have been severely impacted by COVID. Like up to 20% of their personnel are out, including one chief who was out for a while. How are we doing in that regard?
We have been affected due to exposures, and we've had a couple people test positive, and then there's an exposure, and those have come about through family members that they've been exposed. And I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had 7 people out. One of the 7 was, I'm trying to weigh my privacy here, but we have been affected. We have had people come in on overtime to supplement the regularly deployable forces. And which brings me to another issue when Chief Rueda is talking about waiting. When we have victims transported to hospitals, our officers have to wait. The County Department of Public Health or Mental Health just sent out a document last Friday that now said there are 7 or 8 locations throughout the county to transport people who are dealing with a mental health crisis. The closest location we have is LA County USC Medical Center. And we will be waiting along with all of LAPD in the downtown area, central area, some of the folks on the near west side of the city of LA, the Sheriff's Department, other agencies. And we could end up going as far as Sylmar, Sylmar, Lancaster, Torrance, or the harbor. And we have to wait there too until they're able to be seen. So this virus, if you don't think it's real, and it will impact our ability to provide good policing until this tide is stemmed.
Thank you, Chief. And then the second point is, if there's some way we can develop a task force among the LA County cities, because I'm very concerned about the new policies of our new DA, and not just in not prosecuting certain crimes, but also if our officers get involved in a critical incident, there's potential prosecution now of those officers. So his new policies can impact all our cities. So whatever we can do to maybe try to convince them not to pursue these policies. Obviously, the DA's office is filing their own lawsuit against him. So whatever we can do, I'd love to help out, because obviously it's a concern to a lot of agencies.
Thank you, sir. It was discussed today in the LA County Police Association meeting, on our Zoom meeting. I'm now the past president, thank goodness. But we did talk about that issue. It's been brought up. There's also issues involving the idea of, do we prosecute, have our own city prosecutor? Do we not? There's a lot of different things and a lot of issues that we have to be concerned about. But yeah, the LA County Chiefs is developing a committee to take a look at that issue specifically.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions for Chief and Contro?
Just a quick question, if I may.
Yes.
Sure. The status of our facility, we're back in and everything is working as planned. Were there some improvements that were being made, and did they get finished?
As you can see, I'm back in my office.
That doesn't look like your office.
Well, nothing's on the wall yet, but it's not the trailer. And we're back in. The flooring is in. The walls have been painted. I want to thank Michael and his crew from Public Works and all the work that was done to get this completed in a shorter time period than we had expected. So I want to thank Director Throne for what he did. We're back in. We are working through the usual move-in problems with some IT issues and with, holy cow, where are my pens? Where's my files? Which box was that in? So those are the normal things that we're doing, but we are back in, things are working, and it is nice to be in a upgraded facility. And I want to thank you all for your support, from the council to the Public Safety Commission and the community.
Can you still find your pet rat?
No, I haven't seen one.
Great.
I haven't had a spider fall on me yet, and I haven't been bitten by anything. So I'm pretty fortunate.
That's great.
The bar is low.
I've learned to place my bar very low. No disappointments.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief and Contro? Okay. Well, thank you, Chief. Can I get a motion to receive and file the police department report?
I will so move.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. Anyone second? Al? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, great. And let's see, Director Throne, Parks and Public Works.
Thank you, Chair Chang. I apologize for not having a written report. Last week, we in the department had a little issue with having an exposure that pretty much causes most of my department to take many days off in between Christmas and New Year. So I will give you an oral report that hopefully should suffice. There was nothing to follow up from the prior commission meeting. And as Chief mentioned, the police department is back in its building. The trailers left last week exactly on schedule. So the back of City Hall has returned to normal. As a COVID initiative of creating as much physical distance as possible, a portion of the police department is in another location that they're operating out of so that they can have the maximum amount of space to keep them all working together, yet at the same time with enough separation. The work on this year's street rehab project, which is the design work, is underway still, and we're on schedule to be advertising most likely toward the end of this month. The San Marino Center architect is busily working on that, and the community task force will be meeting this coming Thursday to start discussing with the architect some of his initial plans there. I was not able to complete my review of the administrative draft of the citywide traffic circulation and neighborhood traffic calming program. So you'll be seeing that at your February meeting. And the capital improvement program process is going to be kicking off this week. The commission will get a chance to look at it at least once, and I'm hoping to get it to you maybe in a preliminary version at your next meeting so that you can start be looking at that and thinking about what kind of projects that you might suggest from the community members that you interact with. And as I mentioned, we were having an issue of resources during the week, so we had to curtail some maintenance. We were able to keep the park going. Some of our street work had to be suspended and rescheduled for this week and next. So that's what we're working on there in maintenance. We installed our drinking fountain over at the Crowell Public Library. And as soon as people can start to enjoy the library again, they'll be able to fill up their water bottles. And that concludes the Public Works Department report.
Thank you, Director Throne. Any questions for Director Throne? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to receive and file report that will be posted, I guess, right?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. Jeff and Jane, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Any opposed? No. Okay. Moving on to new business, approval of minutes. Everyone's read the minutes from our last meeting. Any questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our December 7th meeting? Al, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay. Before we adjourn, I believe Mayor Udi, you said you had a surprise?
No, no surprises.
No surprises?
No.
Okay. I had brought up if who's the liaison to the Public Safety Commission? Is it still Council Member Sheparami?
The liaisons are being discussed now for this next year, and that's kind of on our agenda for our next meeting. So okay. For today, it's the same as last year. For the future, it'll be after our next meeting.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, anything else anybody wants to bring up before we adjourn? Okay, our next meeting's February 1st, Monday, 7 o'clock via Zoom. If there's no other questions, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Take care.